What's up, everybody? It's Victory Monday here on Falcons Daily. I am CG, Craig Green, your host of the show, and we are here to, talk about the win we had over the Washington Commanders yesterday at the Benz, 34-27. Felt good to see the Falcons offense get back to moving the football, having some explosive plays, and putting up some points yesterday. Real quick, we'll just take a look at the statistics from the ball game. If you didn't watch it or just saw some highlights, we'll give that to you real fast here. The Falcons amassed 435 yards of total offense. Washington 294. We had 24 first downs to 17 for them. More importantly, we were 6 of 12 on third down, 4 of 6 in the red zone, and we had the ball for 34 minutes. All good things. We turned it over one time. That was a Penix throwing an interception in the third quarter. But, speaking of Penix, he had a pretty darn good game. 20 to 26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 pick. 1 touchdown went to Drake London, 1 went to Kyle Pitts. Zach Harrison had a sack today. Jesse Bates had 7 tackles. Just really solid ball today. Bijan Robinson, what can you say about him that hasn't been said? Robinson, 100 yards receiving, 75 yards rushing, and scored a touchdown. So, really good game for him. Again, Kyle Pitts, 5 for 70. And a touchdown. Casey Washington caught a pass. The one downside, unfortunately, is that we did. Well, actually, we did lose Darnell Mooney. He was out with a hamstring. We lost him during the ball game. Hopefully, he'll be all right, especially after the bye week coming up. But also in the rush attack, Tyler Algier, Magnum TA, my man got into the end zone too. He was just under. He was right around 3 yards a carry, but he was running hard. Had a heck of a touchdown in the I believe it was the fourth quarter. No, third quarter, put us up 31-16. And again, it just was good to see the Falcons offense getting out there and getting after it again. It was especially like I said, that bad taste in our mouth from what happened in Charlotte. It was much more improved and felt much more like Falcons football to me, honestly. We only got to Marcus Mariota twice in terms of sacks. Zach Harrison had 1. And then Caden Ellison, Leonard Floyd split another sack. But, they came at good times, and they were plays put Washington in a bad spot. I believe they were I think they were both on third down, if I'm not mistaken. I can go back and find that. But I think they were both on third down or at least second down, and made the next play extremely more difficult. But, you got to give it to Mariota. Mariota played a pretty good game himself. He had Marcus Mariota threw for 155 yards. Wasn't a ton, but he had 2 touchdown passes that kept Washington in the ball game. So, but again, the Falcons came out, did what they had to do, took advantage of the fact that Jaden Daniels wasn't out there. There was no Terry McLaurin, no John Bates either. No Noah Brown. So they were missing some players on offense clearly. And the Falcons went out there and still did their thing. And credit to Washington for still scoring 27 points without that. But the Falcons did a much better job in the red area. 4 of 6 in the red zone. And, one of them was later in the game just trying to salt away with the field goal and whatnot. But I think the Falcons today, feel a whole lot better about their situation going into the bye week than they did, leaving Charlotte yesterday. And speaking of feeling better about things, what's the, when I look at the offense after what happened in Charlotte, I felt like it was more of just an anomaly of things with them in terms of how I feel about their offense. I think, really, I think Penix just had a bad day. There was a lot of talk about, Zach Robinson and his play calling and play design and all these things, like looking for something that was really intricate. That was the problem. And sometimes it just hits you right in the face. And, it's just as simple as, receivers not getting open or the receiver, or the quarterback making a bad throw or somebody missing a block. It could be any one of those things. But I feel pretty good about where the offense is right now. We saw, I felt good about them uh, much. I felt okay about him in week one. I still felt okay about it in week two. Week three, I just was like, this is a bad, bad day. I didn't think it was a sign of things to come. Today, offense really kind of shined this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon, excuse me. But I felt like Penix was very decisive. He was making some long throws. I mean, Washington was playing single high safety a lot, so just one safety in the back. So that left opportunities for shots down the field, especially if they were going to play man-to-man coverage against the Falcons. Dan Quinn liked to play that single high safety when he was here in Atlanta too. His defense, is one that likes to play with the lead so they can pin their ears back and rush the passer. They don't want to do a whole lot of covering. They were playing some zone as well. So uh, the Falcons receivers did a good job just sitting down, finding holes in the zone. I remember one where Bijan Robinson was just wide open. He sat down in the zone, caught it, and was able to, get near the first down marker. But again, the offense is much more efficient, and well, who knows if Zach Robinson being on the field made a bigger difference. But it did feel like they were getting out of the huddle quicker and being more decisive. So, we'll see after the bye week if it's the exact same thing, because I'll have to come back and take on Buffalo at home once week five passes by. So, again, I do feel pretty good about where they're sitting right now, and especially if they can continue this against Buffalo, because we did see the Saints, put up some points on them today. Then you never know. We could definitely, give Buffalo a bigger run for their money, just in my opinion. But, when you look at the Falcons and their record, right, they're 2-2. The two losses were in the division to Tampa Bay and then one to Carolina. And that is not a good spot to be in. But if you're going to be, if you're going to have any wins in the conference, then those wins should absolutely be against other NFC opponents, against teams who are most likely going to be challenging for playoff spots. So that's why I think the wins against the Vikings and the Washington Commanders are big, because Washington, we already know, is going to be somewhere near the top of the division competing for a playoff spot, if not for the division title. And the Vikings last year, I believe they were 14-3, so, or the year before that, 14-3. But they, again, another team that you already know in the NFC North is going to be at or near the top of the division with Green Bay or the Lions. We already know the Lions. They're on this complete, 180 renaissance to where they're now, being revered in the division versus just a team that everybody was laughing at. But really, when it comes to tiebreakers for the Falcons, when it comes down to wild card spots, these wins are really, really big, because again, if you don't win the NFC South, you're going to need to have these wins as tiebreakers, especially when it comes to strength of schedule, strength of victory, when it comes to head-to-head tiebreakers, of course, but also, when it comes to things like your NFC record, yada, yada, yada. So, again, I look at these wins as pretty darn big. Of course, you want to win the NFC South and you want to beat your in division opponents, of course. But if you're gonna be 2-2 going into the bye with two division losses, at least you got these two wins in your back pocket. All right, we're going to go ahead and call it good for today, everybody. Y'all make sure you continue to give me some stuff in the comments and let me know what you think of our show and everything that we're talking about, and give me some topics of your own. And if you want to follow Fan Arch on social media, they're up there in the top left corner. It's FANARCHCO, Fan Arch Co, FANARCHCO. And I'm at Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G, and the word sports. That's where you can find me. And we'll be back on Tuesday to chop it up with you and talk a little bit more about the bye week and what's to come or what's not to come. We already know a game's not coming. So we'll just kind of sit back and chill and see what, just root against the rest of the NFC South. And actually we'll be grateful that today the only team that won on Sunday, the only team that won in the NFC South was the Falcons. Panthers got destroyed. Tampa Bay lost to the Eagles, and the Saints put up a good fight against the Buffalo Bills, but they walked out of there with an L. Falcons move up a game, and they're right there just behind Tampa Bay just by a game. The one game that they lost to them, by the way. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with more Falcons Daily. Until then, sayonara and buenos noches.